Well, we're joined now by Mo Razzaq of the Federation of Independent Retailers, who owns a shop in Blantyre. Mo, you're also a Labour councillor, but we'll be speaking to you in your capacity with the Federation. And what did you make of the news to Parliament yesterday?
Firstly, good morning, Laura. We're deeply sorry about the potential loss of 60 jobs with Circularity Scotland. There are many able people in Circularity Scotland and who took a big risk in moving to them, and we're deeply sorry about the loss of that. For the retailers, I would probably say that we have a great deal of uncertainty now, even more uncertainty, and really we need a lot of clarification.
What sort of clarification are you after? Had you been dealing with Circularity Scotland, or had you been dealing with its contractor BIFA?
We have been dealing with both Circularity Scotland and BIFA, and also with the Scottish Government. With Scottish Government for over 6 years for this deposit return scheme. We were one of the first people to help and work with the Scottish Government. The first person was Rosanna Cunningham that first started the ball rolling. And we were in close contact with Circularity Scotland for a number of different matters, including the payment times for retailers and also for the handling fee.
And you say, as you mentioned there, you've been involved in this for 6 years now. We've seen the Scottish Government blame the UK Government for the decision to omit glass from the scheme. We've seen the UK Government blame the Scottish Government for saying it applied for an exemption to the Internal Markets Bill quite late. Where did you see the problems starting with all of this?
I think both of them, the government, the Westminster and Scottish Government, are both to blame. There was poor communication, and also the retailers and the producers' voice wasn't heard properly. The concerns that were raised weren't listened to properly, and I think that both could have done a lot better.
You've previously told us that you were seeking legal advice on the issue of compensation about the scheme. What's the latest on that?
Well, it's become even more compelling with this delay to October 25. We already knew there was going to be a delay, but with our work with Circularity Scotland, we had a company that we could sit down and talk to and deal with to see if we can find a middle ground. Now that's been taken away, and now it's going to be Scottish Government. Our legal advisors are still working on this just now.
Have you had any contact with either of the governments, the Scottish Government specifically, if you say you need to deal with them now about compensation?
Yes, we have. We've had discussions with Scottish Government, but the Federation, because we're a UK Federation, we're also working on the English, Welsh and Irish model as well. So we've been speaking with DEFRA as well.
The First Minister had indicated that he didn't think there would be grounds for compensation because he says it's the UK Government has caused the collapse of the scheme. Have you had any clarification on that?
Yes, we're very puzzled with that remark, because all our work was done and the advice we took wasn't from UK Government, it was from the Scottish Government. The Scottish Government told us to prepare for August this year, and a lot of our members prepared for August this year, and then we were told that it was delayed till March. So the members still prepared by purchasing the machines and making the space in their businesses and everything else. Now, that was all from advice from Scottish Government. So I don't see how it would be down to the UK Government, since it's advice from Scottish. They didn't put any caveats on, they didn't warn us there were going to be any delays or any other concerns. So,
just to be clear then, are you looking at taking both governments to court or just the Scottish Government?
Well, all our advice came from Scottish Government. It didn't come from the UK Government. So it would be Scottish Government we would be taking to task.
You had told us before that a lot of retailers that you represent are in contracts for these reverse vending machines. Some of them cost around £4,000 a year. What's the situation with those now?
We have been sitting down with the reverse vending machine manufacturers about this matter, and trying to come to a solution. You have to remember that, see, when you purchase a machine, it's like for purchasing a car, that the company that sells you the car no longer have any input, and it's the finance company that have the input, that have the lease with yourself. So the contract's between us and the finance company.
So you're still locked into that, those costs then?
Yes, we are locked into that. There are penalties if we break any contracts, and that's what we're working on just now, to see if we can find a solution.
Do you think that you're going to see a deposit return scheme introduced at any point soon? Well,
we can say, firstly, yes, the desire is to cut the littering and cut the waste, because we have a huge issue with littering in Scotland and UK, and I think that the deposit return scheme is essential for just to combat that. And the fear is that this delay will put pressure on to cancel the deposit return scheme altogether. But I don't agree with it. I think that we should have a deposit return scheme. But I think we should have one deposit return scheme now, with just one company running.
But
all of
how
them.
confident are you that will go ahead in October 2025?
I'm cautiously confident would be probably the afterwards for that.
OK. Mo, thank you very much indeed for your time once again this morning. Mo Razzaq there, Labour councillor, who's also involved with the Federation of Independent Retailers.